Hello, Taurus. These are your tarot cards for July of 2023. I'm Danielle Stimpson of Learn Reiki Philadelphia, and if you enjoy things like tarot, crystals, and Reiki, I highly recommend that you hit that subscribe button because I am here for you live 5 times a week. So let's go ahead and take a peek at your cards. And so, of course, Taurus, I absolutely recommend that you check out the videos for your sun, moon, and rising signs if you happen to know all 3 to give you the most well-rounded look at your month ahead. So your cards are really interesting for this month. So the focus is 7 of Cups. This can show up in a couple of different ways. It's often referred to as the illusion delusion card, but really in the Fountain Tarot, it's usually summarized as lost in choice. And I think that that's a good way to talk about it. It could be a little bit of both. So the focus of the month basically is going to be looking at cups being emotions, but really even more than that, taking a look at all of these opportunities and all of these possibilities that seem to be surrounding you and kind of whittle them down and take a closer look at things. This is also, I feel like there's a lot of loose ends here where it's like a tendency to be non-committal. A tendency to be like, well, that's a possibility and that's a possibility, and as long as I don't make a decision, they're all possibilities. And I know I have a Taurus moon. I get it. So, Taurus moon, it's part of a stellium. I get it. Yeah. So here we are looking at this. This month is going to be about looking at things individually, seeing them for what they are, not just as this, wow, look at all of these opportunities, choices, and things that can happen, but rather, okay, here's the cups that I really want to work with. Here's the things that I really want to focus on, and kind of whittling those down. How are we entering this month? How are we leaving June? Most importantly, that's 9 of Swords, and that's a good card to have kind of mostly in the rear view mirror. But 9 of Swords is about logic to the point of almost torturing yourself. This is worry, waking up and worrying. And I feel like that's kind of where you're at. It's this crossroads of all of these things are kind of possibilities because I haven't ruled them all out. And oh my gosh, I'm so worried that all of these other things can happen. So it's a lack of decision making for some of you, and for others, it's more of all of these bad things can happen, but all of these good things can happen too, and kind of living in both of those places at the same time, which can be really exhausting and also emotionally and mentally challenging. What is the challenge for this month? Challenge for this month is judgment. Judgment is reconciliation is the best way to put it. So looking at those past 2 cards, we have to go through and reconcile which of those. So the 9 of Swords, by the way, is about worry almost for worry's sake. Like the worry is worse than what you're worrying about. Swords are mental, and like, it's sort of like when I look at that card, I often think of slasher flicks. When they don't show violence and it's sort of a psychological thriller, it can be so much scarier than when you do see like the violence that comes in a slasher flick. That's kind of what that means. It's heavier when it's not dealt with, or when it's just running through your mind. Judgment is going to be, the challenge is going to be going through this and saying, which of these swords is just a sword, meaning it's just a worry. It's not an actual knife with an actual point. It's just something that you're worried about. And which of these cups are actual and real and viable? Like, for example, does anyone really have a cup of orange bushels, or a cup of beetles, or a cup of snakes? Some of these are viable, some of these are real, some of these are dreamt up. The challenge this month is going to be going through and really seeing what is what and making the decisions and doing all of that. So what's the best way to move through all of that? The Empress. The Empress is a really powerful major arcana card. This is the divine feminine. As you can see here, she's holding like this glowing baby that might not actually be a physical born baby, but more like the potential. This is a card that in the traditional like Rider-Waite imagery, we often will see her as like softly, like possibly pregnant, gestation, holding space. Here we see like the harvest. This is the time between planting the seeds and the harvest where we're gestating, we're growing things. So when I see this as what's the best thing you can do going forward? How do you deal with this? How do you make those difficult reconciliations? Is to start to look at all of these possibilities and start to think about which ones would you like to grow? Which ones do you want to harvest down the road? Focus on that and put your energy there. Don't worry about running from the swords. Don't worry about all of the different cups and, ooh, am I going to pick the wrong one? But rather start to grab the ones that, like, yes, I definitely want to harvest that as something bigger than it is down the road. Grab it and start to work with it and think of how you can make it bigger, how you can support it, and how you can help it to thrive. That may be easier than simply sitting in this, it's almost like decision paralysis. I'm so worried and scared, but I'm so optimistic. And as long as I don't make a decision, I'm in this like weird Schrodinger's universe of everything is possible, but also everything potentially not great is possible too. So focus on what you would like to grow and expand and start there. And this is a very sacred card of the major arcana too. So the last card of your reading, wisdom from your guides, which is exactly what it sounds like. So what wisdom do they have for you? It is the Four of Swords. And I think that that's a really perfect way to kind of wrap up your reading. The Four of Swords, notice he's sleeping just fine. Traditionally, the Nine of Swords is actually a picture of a woman, and you can see she's kind of in bed here. Usually it's a woman in bed waking up, freaking out. And she's sleepless, she's restless, she's because her mind keeps going with all of these scenarios and possibilities and worries. Where this is sleeping just fine. I really wish this for you for sure. This is to basically say, take the worries, take the things that are the biggest problems and set them down. This is a time to come into yourself and take rest. This is very much a card of mental rest and even physical rest. Your guides are basically kind of giving you an opportunity to say, even if you need to like cancel a couple of things or remove a couple of obligations, take that time to reflect and just sort of rest and process some things so that you can kind of come back to yourself and do the things that are most important. Like take that rest for yourself. If there's something you're seriously worrying about, it might be easier just to kind of say, all right, I can't make a decision on that for right now, or I can't be involved in this for right now. I have some other things I need to deal with. Whatever helps you to kind of put some things aside, because all 9 of those swords are not going to help you. But just the 4 here, they can serve as protection while you rest and come back to yourself, and then you can reflect more easily upon what things you want to grow. So yeah, your guides want you to take care of yourself and get some rest. That's not a bad message at all, right? But yeah, so reconciliation is the challenge, but you got this. Focus on what you would like to grow. What would you like to harvest down the road? And you will be great. So Taurus, all the love in the world to you. If you would like to learn more about me, my live online Reiki certification courses, to schedule a one-on-one reading, my books are open. Also for distance healings, go ahead and visit learnreikiphiladelphia.com or check the links in the description. And I am here 5 times a week with a healing live stream right on this channel. So you can join me for that anytime. Thank you for being here. If this was helpful, definitely give it a like, and I hope to see you for August. All the best and take care.